Pooja Gowda has just come. Aishwarya. Five are there. Pooja Gowda, are you using laptop or mobile? Pooja?
Mobile, sir.
Mobile, that's why it's running from this side to that side, right? Very, very shaky.
The power is really less, sir.
Okay, great. Only five today as of now. Okay, we have been told to upload the videos to the YouTube channels created for each one of the faculty. You must have heard from other faculty also. We are going to upload these videos, of course, from 1st April, not up to the first week, from the second week. We are going to upload and we are going to send the YouTube link to these videos. You can all watch this if you are interested. And those who have missed out these classes can also go and watch these videos. I am going to upload, in fact, I have started uploading the corporate valuation videos. And probably by this evening, I will be able to complete the uploading of all the videos to our respective YouTube channel. And then I will share the link. Right? For each video, there will be a separate link. I will share the link for all the videos. You can go and watch this. You can also see for yourself how you have conducted yourself, right? Uh, how are you found the scene in these videos and all, right? Pooja HC has made it now. Who else? Now it is 12:05. Let me start the class. Five students are there as of now. Let me start sharing the screen. Let others join. This is what we had started yesterday. Theories of mass communication. Aishwarya, can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. And there are four sets of theories to be covered in this unit. We have covered the first two. Now, yesterday we had started with the third set of theories, that is theories of mass communication, where the focus is on the role of mass media in public relations, corporate public relations. And here we noted that there are three independent theories: uses and gratifications theory, framing theory, and agenda setting theory. In fact, we had started the discussion on the first on the definition of media. We noted that all the means of communication, right, whether it is print or electronic or social media, especially these days, they are all covered under the definition of media. And the focus, I told you, of all these theories is on the role of media in helping the organization in conducting its public relations programs and campaigns. Now, the first one is the uses and gratifications theory. We have seen that the people are usually active users of the media generally. People tend to make use of different media, most forms, and they are going to use this for multiple purposes. It might not be only for communication. The media is being used today for entertainment, for diversion, for personal relationship, even to establish one's own personal identity. And I just now told you a YouTube channel has been created by the college in the name of each one of the 200 faculty members. That means now I have got an identity on YouTube also. I can put my videos, my views, my lectures, or whatever, my resources on the YouTube. So media is now being used as a check on personal identity and values also. Is anybody coming now? Now, another important thing that this theory tells us is that for the purpose, for the public relations practitioners, this means that not everyone will note or hear bad news about a company or product. Sometimes we tend to be apprehensive. So some news is leaked out. And then, for example, these days you might have read in newspapers and you must have received some messages that Zoom application is not very safe, right? Now, the company that Zoom.us, the company which has developed and which has made this application mobile app available for cloud meetings, might have got some apprehensions whether this news about the lack of adequate security in this application has reached all. Not many people know. Even now, not many people know. They are still using this. So, if there is a bad news about a company, if there is a bad news about a product, it might not reach all the all the members of the target audience, all the members of the external stakeholders at the same time in equal degree. There might be differences because we need to understand that the messages the messages in the mass media will be shaped, selected, and interpreted in multiple ways, right? If these messages are seen or heard at all. The first question for a PR practitioner is whether these messages being told about a company, told about a product of the organization are really seen and heard at all in the first place. It might not have been seen by many. It might not have been heard by many. Only few people might have seen, only few people might have heard. And even among those who have seen or who have heard these messages, who have received these messages, might like to interpret this in their own way, according to their own knowledge, according to their own ability. They might some might accept this, some might have their view, some might disregard the opinion, some might even ignore the message. So this is what happens. It's not necessary that the entire news about the organization or about its products or offers or policies, announcements would reach all the members at the same point of time and would be interpreted and accepted in the same degree. There might be a lot of variations. That is what PR managers should know as per this theory. So that's all that we have about the uses and gratifications theory. So what we need to know from this theory is that uh, public or the target audience make use of different types of media. That is one point. So that is the use part of this theory. Second one is gratification or satisfaction. The messages sent across these multiple media might be utilized, interpreted, adopted, followed, heard, or seen, or whatever, made use of by different members of the target audience differently. So we need to understand only these two things. So when we know that people tend to use multiple media, there is a lesson for a PR practitioner. I might have to roll out my PR campaign in different media or the media which is a mass media, which is being used by majority of the people. That is one lesson of this theory for the PR practitioners. Second one is the understanding, the awareness the PR practitioners should have. That is the messages sent across, the campaign material, campaign information sent across to the target audience might not land on them, might not be heard by all of them, might not have been seen by all of them, might not have been interpreted in the same way. There might be variations. There might be one might have understood it fully, one might have understood this in the right perspective, other might have misunderstood this, other person might have misread this information, or we might have misread the tone or the implication of this message. So these differences are bound to be there. According to one's ability, we make use of the messages coming to us in various media that we use. So these two things the theory. Please look up the contents of this theory. Mass media scholars, those who are proficient in mass media management, etc., they suggest that messages and information sent to the target audience carry with them a pre-existing set of meanings or frames. So when a PR practitioner sends out a message, he has in his mind a particular set of meaning in this message, a particular frame in this message. This is the meaning of my message. This is what I am trying to convey to my target audience. I expect the target audience to identify this meaning, read this meaning, find this meaning in my message. That is what I will be having. The frame will be there. It is not that I am sending out a message that whatever meaning the target audience want to draw, let them draw. No, that is not the way we are practitioners, we are professionals do. When they construct a message, when they design a message, and when they send this message out to the target audience, they need the sender, the PR practitioner, will be having a particular set of meaning, a particular meaning in their message. This is what they want to convey to the target audience. This is what they expect the target audience to identify, find out, and understand. To capture the same meaning, not the other meanings, not a contradictory meaning, not a meaning which is not relevant according to me. According to me means the sender. So this is what the scholars have suggested. That is, messages and information sent to the target audience carry with them a pre-existing set of meaning. This is what you need to understand. When the government of India says use this mask, there is a particular meaning the government agency had in mind while sending out this message, this directive to the general public, that they should use this the same in from the point of view of the government. Government wants you to protect yourself from the infection. When this reaches me, I should not read that, oh, this is what the government wants to help the face mask manufacturers. Somebody, some minister might be having some interest in a face manufacturing company, so he wants to boost business for this company. That's why they are selling this. They are selling this idea. They are telling us to buy and wear the mask. I should not. That was not the meaning of the government agency or the Ministry of Health when it sent out this message to all of us. That is about wearing the face mask. When this message was sent out, the intention or the meaning or the frame the sending the government agency or the Ministry of Health had in mind was that this is going to protect us from infection, from getting infected. It is going to protect our health. That is the meaning, and I should understand the same meaning. That is the expectation. So this is the meaning of the last part of the first bullet. That is, all messages and information sent to the audiences carry with them a pre-existing set of meanings. One or a set of meanings. These sets are called frames. Frame within which you should not think outside this. You should not try to bring any meaning outside this frame which the sender has. I should not, some people think too much, is it not? You will get a lot of ideas, totally different. They will start thinking out of the box when it is not required. And they get a lot of news. That is not the way. That is what this theory says. Entman, a mass media scholar, defined framing as an active process of drawing out dominant themes for the content. So when a message is sent, it has got a content, right? A message without a content is a blank message. So there will be always be a content. When you send an SMS, when you send a message through WhatsApp, there is a content. Is it? You type the words, you type a phrase, right? You type something. So there is a content. And what is the dominant meaning of this content? That is what you expect the receiver to identify, to note. This is a very active process. When you type out and send a message, you don't do it just because you know English, or just because you have three messages, or because you have time. No, you are going to include a content in your message. You are going to send this message having that content to an intending recipient, and you expect the recipient to identify that meaning and to receive this in the same way you had meant it. You as a sender had meant it. So this is a very active process of drawing out dominant or main or the most essential theme or meaning of the content. These meanings come from the cultural and social groupings in which we live and work. So whenever we share the information, whenever we say the message, we tend to break up this message. We try to find out the meaning with our cultural and social upbringing only. We cannot try to find out a meaning which is not relevant with our cultural and social meanings. Suppose if a message comes to me about rock music, say, because it is not my cultural background, that is not my social background. I might be interested in classical music. If somebody sends a jazz music content to me as a message, as an audio message or a video, etc., I might not be able to find out the meaning in it because I have no grooming in it. I have no exposure to it. Tomorrow, suppose somebody sends me some technical aspect about some artificial intelligence program, because that was not my social input here, the education. I am not trying to understand this, so I might just discard this message. This has got no meaning. The artificial intelligence or the machine learning might not be making any sense to me. So whenever we send the message, we need to understand whether this is appropriate to be sent to this person, to this target, to this recipient. Second, the recipient also will be able to receive, understand, get the meaning, provided he has got the same cultural or social background in which he works. Suppose as a teacher, if anything comes with respect to education, with respect to professional education, I will be able to understand this. I will be able to get the meaning. Suppose the ICT sends some messages to me or sends a mail to me, I will be able to understand this. On the other hand, if say some other particular agency or other message about what some technological thing or health thing, when a medical bulletin comes, I might not be able to understand it fully. I might understand only partly. I might not be able to capture the dominant theme of that message, which the sender had in mind when sending this message. So the message will become ineffective. That is the meaning of this third point. These meanings come from the cultural and social groupings in which we live on. Right? Suppose I send some thing to a youngster like you, you'll be able to understand. Suppose if I send a philosophical theme told in our Vedas, you might probably you are not right. You are not good. You might not be able to understand. You might not be able to capture the meaning of this at all. So that is the thing. We tend to ascribe the meaning based on our cultural and social groupings in which we work or we live or we work. So a pre-existing interpretation of frame that audiences instantly know and accept is very useful to communicators. Assume that I am a PR practitioner. I have to communicate certain message to my target audience, and I have got this preset, pre-existing meaning in my message. And if I can expect that this meaning, which I have got in mind while constructing this message, while sending out this message, if that meaning is identified and captured by my recipients, my audience, I am effective, I am successful in sending out this message. That is what I have to interpret. So a pre-existing interpretation of frame is pre-existing means it is set. It is already set. It is already fixed. When I send out, there is some set meaning. I don't keep it open for interpretation. I want you to interpret in this way only. I want to receive this in this way only. I want to understand this message in this way only. That is pre-existing while sending. And if you are able to do this, if you are able to identify that meaning, if you are able to capture that meaning on receiving this message, you can call me or you can call my message. You can call my message campaign effective, or you can call me as a effective campaigner or a public relations practitioner. Common devices used in media and public relations stories are catchphrases, depictions, metaphors, exemplars, and visual messages. So we use different devices or inputs so that the pre-existing meaning of the message is captured in the same way, right? I am going to use a lot of examples. I am going to use a lot of similar metaphors. I am going to use common say instances so as to drive home the fact. Suppose you must have seen in most of these visual communications that we are receiving these days, especially COVID-19, we find an Indian person dressed in Indian dress or an Indian woman in a sari or so we are able to relate easily. We are able to relate easily. So we are and they are going to show in their communications the, the realistic practical situations that are found in our cities and villages. Then we are able to relate easily. If they had shown a case in Spain or Italy, we might not make it, or in US, we might not make it, we might not be able to draw the same link. But when we find that another Indian from, say, Delhi or Chennai is doing like this or behaving like this, then I will be able to capture, oh, this message is meant for me. This is an Indian situation. This is the same grouping in which we are living, we are working. So it has got a meaning to me. It has got a significance to me. So I should look into this message. I should try to understand this message. So in our campaign, we use whether it is advertisements, commercials, etc. Right? You have seen in commercials also. You have seen Indian housewives being depicted in. So why? Because Indian housewives, to whom the product is meant for, they will be able to easily identify. So this is another housewife in say another city, another Indian housewife. She is using this product. She is using Ariel. She is using women's Horlicks. So I think there is something useful for me also being an Indian housewife. So the media and public relations stories. Stories here means the campaign messages. These campaign messages contain a lot of easily relatable. Please note this word: easily relatable, easily identifiable metaphors, examples, instances, and visual images. We don't show a US housewife or a professional using women's Horlicks. Then we may think, no, they are all there, they are in the cold countries, uh, they are working outside, so they require. But when they show an Indian woman housewife using women's Horlicks, then majority of the housewives may be able to relate this with their own, because that is the cultural and social groups we talked about in the previous bullet point. We live and work. So, in order to ensure that the target audience would be able to identify and capture the pre-existing meaning of the communicator, the communicators use different visual images and examples so that the target audience would not miss out on the pre-existing meaning of that message. They would not get distracted. They would not ignore or fail to identify that pre-existing meaning in that message. So that when these visual images are conveyed as part of your communication, as part of your message, then as a PR practitioner, you can expect your target audience to draw, to identify, to capture the message you had in mind in sending the message. And to that extent, your campaign, your communication is going to be effective or successful. Are you able to follow this? Hmm? Pooja Gowda, are you able to follow this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So that's why whenever you see Sachin Tendulkar coming on, Akshay Kumar coming, or somebody coming, you'll be able to identify this. If some person from abroad, some South Korean film actress comes and tells you, you might just dismiss, right? This has got no relevance for me. But when your own, who is your Kannada hero comes and tells you, then you tend to follow. You tend to relate. Relating to the meaning is very important in any communication. To become effective, please notice. Are you comfortable in listening to my lecture? Will never say no.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you able to follow this?
Yes, sir.
Thank God
Yes,
it's
sir.
only 30 minutes, not 60 minutes you are saying. Is it not? Hmm?
No, sir.
In the next theory, let us make a reference to this. I think it is 4:30 now. We might be having another 5-6 minutes. Agenda setting theory. What is this agenda? I am seeing has anybody joined now? This Kavya UB has joined. Suprada Rao has joined. Who else? Anybody else whom I have not named? How many are there now? Okay, then. Agenda setting. Agenda means what? Agenda means what? The scheduled program. We say meeting agenda. We take the topics one after the other for discussion and resolution. Right? Agenda of a meeting, we say. Agenda of a program, the objective of the program, the schedule of the program. Now, what is this agenda setting? What has this got to do with our public relations? Agenda setting is based on the assumption that although media can't tell people what opinion to hold about an issue, you are aware of this. Media can only be advisory. It cannot make us compulsory, right? It cannot tell us what opinion I should hold about a particular issue, particular matter, particular topic, particular government policy, whatever. It has influence on what issues people think about. Media does not tell us what should be our opinion about a given issue, but media has the power to influence the issues that we tend to think about. You have been seeing it, whichever channel you reach now, or television channel you reach now, all are talking about COVID-19. Is it not? All other things, whether it is economics or politics or sports, all these things have stopped getting to the prime time on television channels. All are repeatedly having, especially some Kannada channels are churning out stories like anything, right? So this means what? Because of this constant repetition of the messages that we are receiving through electronic media or even in print media, you open a newspaper, first 3-4 pages are all about corona. You have seen this. So this this is the power of the media. It has the influence on what issues people think about. When this media does not talk about sports, does not talk about IPL except for a small column on the last page, or except culture, except education, except politics, they are not talking about these things. So all are obsessed with corona. So this is the power of the media. Media cannot tell us the policy. It cannot tell us what opinion I should have about a particular issue, but it has the power to on what issues people think about. Now, all of us, barring say 5%, 95% of the recipients of the messages across all these different media are thinking about corona only. They are not thinking about the delayed monsoon. They are not thinking about the postponement of IPL. They are not thinking about the cancellation of cinema shooting or the postponement of KGF 2. How many of you are thinking of this? Nobody's thinking, least except 5%. All of us are obsessed with this. So media has this power. Media has set the agenda for us, agenda for our thinking, agenda for our discussion on dining table, in our drawing rooms. We keep talking about corona, right? And its impact on our classes, on our education, on our placement, on our examination, etc. Everything centering around corona. How this has become? This is on account of the bombardment of messages we are receiving from the mass media. So mass media has this power of setting the agenda for our discussion, agenda for our introspection, agenda for our conversation. It has set this. Now, whenever two people meet, what are they talking about? They're talking about this corona, talking about lockdown, talking about non-availability, talking about these controls, right? The green zone, red zone, hotspots, all things surrounding this corona. This is nothing but setting the agenda. Who has set the agenda? Have I decided that all the people in Shimoga should talk about corona? Or the deputy commissioner has said this? No, it's the media. It has repeatedly brought these messages, and whichever way we turn our face, whichever channel we change into, we receive these messages only. So, inadvertently, unintentionally, or intentionally, I don't know, media set the agenda for our public discourse and even private discourse. Public relations practitioners attempt to influence the media agenda by providing the news items for public consumption. Here is a lesson for PR, public relations managers. If they want the target audience to talk about my company, to talk about my policies, my offers, my programs, my discounts, my price reductions, my freebies, etc., etc., what I should do? I should catch hold of the media, appropriate media, and I should ensure that this message is being repeatedly brought out, sent out to that media. When you see this commercial repeatedly, what you will do? You tend to try, tend to become curious, right? There must be something. Why otherwise, Sachin Tendulkar, Amitabh Bachchan would not have endorsed this product. Sachin Tendulkar would not have talked about this company. That means the PR practitioner, with the help of the media, can set an agenda for the target consumers' buying behavior, buying content. As a housewife, you are not knowing about this product, right? It was never on your mind to buy or not to buy. That product was not there at all. Now, PR practitioner through the media has ensured that a message about this product goes to all the houses during their prime time serial. And everybody receives, everybody starts talking about this. I saw this commercial, he spoke and he must be good, or that is that. Everybody will talk. So PR practitioner can get the agenda set. What is the agenda? discussion, interest about my company's product, my company's program, my company's decisions, my company's offers in the minds of the people. So, in the dining rooms, in the drawing halls, the discussion will be about your product, about your company's product, about your company's message, about your company's campaign. Who has set this agenda? The media. Media has not done this on its own. Who has prompted this media? You, the PR practitioner. So you have got this capability to set the agenda with the help of, or in connivance with, or in consultation with the media. Media becomes a useful medium for you, a tool for you to set the agenda about your company's product in the minds of the people, in the discussion of the people, in the conversation of the people. Where I am going to stop. I'm going to continue in the next class. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So 10 students are there. The last call, slightly better than yesterday. I think I have named all. Has anybody left out? Anugna, Pooja, Aishwarya, Chaitra, Pooja Gowda, Kavya, Suprada, MBA 52, MBA 28, and MBA 42. Pooja Gowda, I believe. Who else? Who is 52? Pratibha, right? Oh, 28 is Pratibha. Who is 52?
Sir, me, Sonia.
Sonia. So, 10 students. Hope you are able to follow these things. We will continue the discussion in the next class. Thanks for attending. Take care and all the classes. So I please wait for the YouTube video links. Right, will reach you in a day or two, and you can watch those videos also. Right? Everything is getting everything is getting recorded. Please be aware of this. Okay. Okay. I am going to end the meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.